Hello Luninho, how are you? I hope you're fine. Welcome to another class. Today's topic is collocation. Of course, you know what a collocation is. A collocation is what we call in grammar the study of how some words can be more naturally organized. That's the idea of today's lesson. We will study how to organize some words in a better fashion, in a better way. And as collocations, I first chose to start with you metaphors. Metaphor. You know, of course, what a metaphor is. It is comparison, but it is non-literal comparison, right? So I could say that I work like a dog. I work a lot. That's a metaphor. You see that in Portuguese we do not say that. We do not say that we work like dogs. We say that we work like horses in Portuguese if we're trying to make a translation, literal translation. So, at the end of the day, literal translation does not help a lot, so that's why you need to study collocations. Let's start with some simple metaphors that are going to use parts of the body, okay? And I want to start with face up to the fact. Face up to the fact. Repeat after me. Face up to the fact. Face up to the fact. Okay? Dear alumínio, let the language flow. Let the language flow in your phonetic system. Okay? Again, face up to the fact. Face up to the fact. Good. Face up to the fact means exactly accept reality. Reality. So, if you've got a friend and your friend is being cheated, his wife, that now is his ex-wife, has just gone away with someone else, and the guy is still thinking that she has, I don't know, she's been visiting a friend, but you come, and then you come to him and you say, please, John, face up to the fact that your wife abandoned you. Hey, John, face up to the fact. In this case, it's only one fact, but you can also use facts if you have more than one argument, okay? I'm going to write a sentence here. I'm going to read the sentence, excuse me, and I want you to take notes in it, okay? It's like a dictation activity. So, write it down. It took John some time to face up to the fact that his wife had left him. I'm going to repeat it once more. It took John some time to face up to the fact that his wife had left him. Try to write this down, okay? Now I'm going to write it on board so you can check if you spelled it correctly. So it took John some time to face up to the fact that his wife had left him. Oh, poor John. Poor John. You'll get over it. You'll get over it. It took John some time to face up to the fact that his wife had left him. Okay? Next expression, or next metaphor that we can use, still using parts of the body, is shoulder the blame. Probably you know what shoulder means, right? Shoulder is a noun, is this part of the body. But in this case, we're not using it as a noun. We are using it as a verb. Like here, like in face the fact, face up to the fact, and shoulder the blame, they are both verbs. So when you shoulder the blame, you literally take responsibility for something. So something bad happened, and you didn't want things to get weird, so you shouldered the blame. You said, okay, it was my fault, I apologize for that. Sometimes we shoulder the blame for things that we haven't actually done, right? Who has never done that? Okay, another sentence for you. Although others were also responsible for the prank, Sue decided to shoulder the blame. One more time. Although others were also responsible for the prank, Sue decided to shoulder the blame. Look at that. We're Sue in this case. Narrow over here. Although others were also responsible for course you know what prank means, but if you don't, please search it up, look it up. It really means when you play something, when you are cruel to a friend of yours by playing something stupid game with him, and him being, of course, on the bad side of the situation. So it's not going to be a nice thing when you prank someone. I mean, for the person you're pranking, for you it's going to be a lot of fun. But anyways, prank. Although others were also responsible for the prank, Sue decided to shoulder the blame. Okay, so try to read this along with me. Although others were also responsible for the prank, Sue decided to shoulder the blame. Sue decided to shoulder the blame. And even though this is a vocabulary lesson, I cannot just not tell you and not call your attention to the use of an infinitive after decide, right? When we decide to do something. We just don't decide to do something. Alright? Very good. So, 2 metaphors for you. Face up to the facts, shoulder the blame. Now, another one. This one is not as pleasing. I mean, yeah, none of them are actually. When you face up to the fact, probably you're not very happy. When you shoulder the blame, you aren't very happy either. But what about when you fit the bill? Or when you foot the bill, sorry. I used the plural word, but it's in the singular. When you foot the bill. What about when you foot the bill? Is this something positive for you or not? I don't know. I really don't know. If you have a lot of money, maybe it's just a way of spending some time with your friends. But in this case, foot the bill. Foot the bill. This means pay for. Exactly. Pay for. When you pay for something, you foot the bill. Generally for a person, right? You foot the bill. Okay? You pay for something, you foot the bill for that something, or you foot the bill for someone. Look at the example. Choose whatever you want from the menu. I'll foot the bill. I'll foot the bill. Don't worry. I'm going to pay for everything. So one more time. Choose whatever you want from the menu. I'll foot the bill. I'll foot the bill. So choose whatever you want from the menu. I'll foot the bill. Okay? Good. Foot, not feet. Okay, like I used. It's always in the singular in this case. You're using it as a verb. So you see that these parts of the body that are very commonly used or very commonly known as nouns, they can be used as verbs too, you know, with different meaning, of course. So, foot the bill, pay for. When you pay for something, you foot the bill for something, right? Or for someone. Maybe John wanted to go out with you and you had a splendid dinner, and at the end of the dinner he didn't have money to pay, so he's your friend and you footed the bill for him. You footed the bill for him. Okay? Let's go. Next one. Next one is head a team. When you head a team, you are a leader, of course. You are the leader of a team. Okay? Be the leader of a team. But you can head a company too. You can head a team, but you can head a company. You can head a group of study group. I don't know. You can head a group of teachers. You can head the staff. You can be the headmaster of the school. Anyway, head means to be the leader. I've got a sentence here for you. I don't like Michael. I don't think Michael has what it takes to head the team. That's the sentence. One more time for you. I don't think Michael has what it takes to head the team. I don't think Michael has what it takes to head the team, and that's the way we are going to write it down. I don't think that Michael has what it takes to head the team. I don't think that Michael has what it takes to head the team. Okay? So, 2 more metaphors for you. Foot the bill, it's a verb. Head a team, it's also used as a verb. Okay, are you ready for more? Yes, of course you are. That's why you're here after all. Studying very advanced language, very challenging language. I know that this is quite difficult to memorize, students. Okay. A very good way of keeping this vocabulary updated is by, getting in touch with the language, traveling as much as you can, talking to foreigners as much as you can, being exposed to English, actually. That's the answer. And I know that we all lead very busy lives, but you shall find a way, right? You shall find a way to get some exposure, some daily exposure of English. Another metaphor for you, keep someone on their toes. I like this one. Keep someone on their toes. Of course you know what toes mean. Actually the word toes means toes are like fingers but on your feet, not on your hand. On your hand you have got fingers, on your feet you've got toes. Exactly. So you see that this is something you can change. Someone. I can put John here. Keep John on, but be careful that when you change the pronoun over here, you also need to change the possessive adjective over here. So I can talk about John, so in this case, keep John on his toes. Keep John on his toes. That's the idea. And when you say this about John, let's imagine you are John's bosses. You're John's boss, sorry. And you want John to be busy all the time. So you can tell staff, you can tell his colleagues, okay, keep John on his toes. Like give him a lot of work, keep him busy. So whenever you keep someone on his or her or their toes, you are actually making them busy. Okay, keep someone on their show. So I've got an example here for you. Running a company is something that will keep you on your toes. Definitely. Running a company is something that will keep you on your toes. So here goes. Running a company is something that will keep you on your toes. Running a company is something that will keep you on your toes. That will keep you on your toes. Okay? Good. Another expression, another metaphor for you. I hope you're taking notes, okay? Because this is not going to just magically fix in your brain, magically fix in your cognition. No. It will demand some hard work. Have an eye for. Have an eye for. When you have an eye for something, you are interested in something, or you are very good at something. Okay? So let's say John is very perfectionist. I laugh because I use John all the time. John is very perfectionist. He has an eye for detail. Man, John has an eye for detail. He's very perfectionist. He has an eye for detail. Okay? That's one example. For you, have an eye for. When you have an eye for something, you are very interested in something or you are very good at something. Okay? So these are... Oh, there's one more metaphor that I want to share with you in this first part of the class. And let me erase this. Well, I really hope you're copying things or taking notes and jotting them down. I really, really hope that you're doing this. Next expression means, or it is, go hand in hand with. When something goes hand in hand with, it happens at the same time or as a result. So they happen at the same time or as a result. Okay? I've got an example here for you, which is unemployment. Unemployment goes hand in hand with social unrest. Social unrest. We are saying that unemployment causes social unrest, social movements to surge, to appear. Okay? It happens at the same time or as a result. Okay? So these are some metaphors based on parts of the body that I brought to you today. And also, I'm going to talk about all their specific collocations. Some collocations that combine specific parts of speech. Okay, what are parts of speech? Of course you know. Parts of speech are the grammar or the grammatical terms we divide the words in the language, like noun, verb, adverb, and etc. So in this case, we will see that with heavy, which is a very common and very easy adjective, right? Heavy, the contrary of light is heavy. We can use heavy as a collocation with a lot of words, and I want you to repeat them so they sound naturally when they are used. Heavy responsibility. Heavy responsibility. You could say, oh, I have heavy responsibility at work. So you're saying that you have a lot of responsibility, okay? You could say that you have a heavy burden. You have a heavy burden. Of course, you know what burden means, but in case you don't know, search it up, look up for it. But I'll try to explain it here to you. It means some bad thing that you have to carry along your life forever. You know, something that is not quite pleasant for you, not quite pleasant and not quite pleasing. Of course, I just put them together. I'm sorry. So there are some things in life that are not very pleasant, and we have to, carry them along during life. We have to take this burden along, and that's what burden means. I hope you have understood. If you haven't, search it up. Okay, burden. So heavy responsibility, heavy burden. We can be talking about a heavy book. A heavy book. The contrary of heavy is light. So we also have collocations for light. We can say light reading. Oh, I'm just doing some light reading here. You're reading about something that's not very dense or not very complicated. Light heart. Light heart. If someone has a light heart, the person is very kind, generous. The person has a light heart. And also talking about weight, we could say that we have got chances, and sometimes these chances are slim chances. You see that you will sound more natural if you use slim chances rather than using small chances. There is nothing wrong with small chances, is that slim chances would sound better and more natural for you. Okay, for me too, for everybody actually. So slim chances, heavy responsibility, light reading. You see that these are all adjectives, and we are using specific nouns or verbs that were transformed in nouns in this case with them. That's what collocation does. It helps us recognize what is the best organization of words. Weighty. Weighty. Issues. It's a nice combination too. Like a topic that is heavy and it's gonna bring some discomfort is a weighty issue. Okay? Or it can also be a weighty problem. It's a difficult problem. Okay? And alright, so this is all metaphors based on adjectives. Now we've got other metaphors based on movement, and I particularly like those. We have run into difficulty. Difficulty. I didn't remember if I had used the British or the American notation, so here are both. So in American notation we prefer trouble, in British notation we prefer difficulty, but it's quite the same. Run into difficulty or run into trouble. Just do not forget to pronunciate or to pronounce this letter Y over here, because you cannot just say run into difficult. You have to say run into difficulty or run into trouble. Okay. Walk straight into something. Generally we use it for opportunities and for jobs. So we can say John is very lucky. He lost his job last week, but he just walked straight into another one. He walked straight into another job. So you can walk straight into a job or an opportunity. Okay, walk straight into. Oh, this one, jump to the conclusion. When you jump to the conclusion, you have a conclusion. And sometimes if you jump to it, you're wrong. So you could say, oh, you thought that I was single. You jumped to the wrong conclusion. I am married. Okay, that's an example of jump to the wrong conclusion. And hit the rocks. Hit the rocks. When something hit the rocks, it finishes. It is over. And we generally use it for relationships or financial situations. They could say, oh, John really hit the rocks with his finances. So he came into a very, very difficult situation, hazarding situation for John. Guys, as I always do, I'm going to dictate some sentences here and I want you to write them down. I'm not going to write them on the board right now. You will find a PDF with them so you can correct by yourselves. Okay, let's get started. Number one, I will repeat them only once. So if you need, please pause the video, go back, watch it again. So number one, the CFO visit kept everyone in the office on their toes. Number two, Rose shouldered the burden for the failure of the project. 3. I don't think Mary will ever forgive John. It's time he faced up to the fact. 4. As the company had done so well in the first quarter, it agreed to foot the bill for a staff night out. 5. John has an eye for bargains. 6. John and Mary's marriage hit the rocks after Mary ran into trouble with John's family. So I lost track of numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Infections go hand in hand with poor hygiene. 8. My father jumped to the wrong conclusion when he saw us together. And 9th, there's just a slim chance I'll pass, but I'll give my best. Maybe I can rise to the challenge. Okay, guys, these structures I put here on the board for you, they're quite advanced. You really need to train. I sometimes run into trouble with them as well, because it's very common for us to misunderstand or misuse the preposition or invert the preposition, go hand with hand, for example. This is a mistake that sometimes I catch myself making. And you should be really worried about this, because if you put this with here, it doesn't make much of a sense. It's like you were trying to sound smart, but you were failing. You know, that's the thing that sucks when you're working with metaphors. But what has helped me a lot is trying to repeat them several times in front of a mirror, record myself, listen to my own voice, and get as much exposure as possible. Okay? That's the tip for today, and that was the lesson. I hope you have enjoyed. I was a little bit nervous today because I've got a new system here working. I'm really sorry, but I hope you could have enjoyed the class. Okay, thank you very much. Bye for now.